So thanks for coming along, guys. My name is Nick Fredrickson. It's now 7:42. Normally this takes maybe an hour to an hour and a half, just depending on the number of questions and side avenues we head down. So feel free to chime in at any point. This is your session to get the most out of the information I've got in my head or via everyone else's input. So just a little bit of housekeeping too. I'm actually doing a screen recording of tonight's session. Assuming that everyone's okay with that, we'll keep recording with the end goal of uploading this to YouTube at the end, so it's another webinar recorded to act as another bit of a resource for people that may be looking to come and see what happened tonight, so someone in the committee or outside of the centre. So if everyone's cool with that, I'll just keep recording. If not, please sing out now or send me an email later on, and I won't post it to YouTube. So to kick on, so tonight, this is what we're going to go through. We're going through a bit of a high-level review of what ResultsHQ is, what RaceHQ is, and what CompetitionHQ is, and how they all interrelate, and why you may want to use various applications and how to actually go about using them. So that's the first part of it. Then we're going to go through the athlete and family area and what that looks like, and then some basics there on getting ready for the season start, as in rolling your season over if you haven't already, making sure you've got the users set up, and just some basics on setting up a program, entering results, doing some recording sheets and some points calculations. And then if you do have time and if there is interest, then we can go over some of the advanced features at the very end there. Does that fit with everybody's expectation for tonight? Is there anything major missing on there that you may want to cover off? No? Okay, well, let's kick on. So for pretty well all the centres that are online tonight, having a chat with us in this webinar, the registrations is where the journey begins for all your athletes in IMG or Sports Technology Group, just depending on what you used to call it. So all the athletes go online, they register or re-register for the new season. In ResultsHQ, there's a button there that you press and it syncs across or pulls across your active and your financial members. So providing athletes in this part of the world, in IMG or Sports Technology Group, are active and financial, then they'll sync across to ResultsHQ when you press the button. So if you've got 200 members over here, but you're only seeing 150 in here, and you've just pressed the button and it's sent you an email saying, I've just finished and there's 150 people, then that's telling me that we've got around 50 athletes in IMG that are either not active or are not financial or both. So you've got to change their status to allow them to come across. Once they've come across, the rest of the season is pretty well focusing on ResultsHQ is where all the information goes and comes, and that's web-based. So providing you've got a browser, as in you've got a phone or a tablet or a laptop or a PC, and that has internet access. Now we normally recommend Google Chrome if you're going to use the browser, and then that's the best sort of interface that we've got to make sure that you're getting a good experience. Some Internet Explorers and so on tend to not behave as well. So if you're seeing something that doesn't quite look right and using Internet Explorer, jump on Google Chrome. So that's web-based. These other two applications, RaceHQ and ResultsHQ, RaceHQ and CompetitionHQ, they are both offline applications. So you do not need internet for those to work. They're built to not need internet. So if you don't have good internet and you do want to enter results down at the oval or at the track, then these two applications are what you would be best used, because you don't need internet. You can go and get all your data captured, and then when you do have internet, you go and upload it back to ResultsHQ. So these are the first two applications we're going to have a look at tonight, is RaceHQ and CompetitionHQ. The moment you do upload results, they are then available out here in the family world. So on their phone or on their tablet or in their web area, that's where they'll be able to see these results come through in real time. So if you are lucky enough to have internet, but you're still using these two applications, you can set it so that you can upload results race by race, or at the end of high jump, you press upload, and all the high jumps are now over here in the family. There's various ways to manage that. But we're going to jump straight in now and have a look at RaceHQ, the timing software, and just the basics of that and why you may want to use it. Any questions so far? Okay, well, I'll fire up RaceHQ. So again, this is Windows-based application. So if you're running a MacBook or an iPad or an Android tablet, this won't work. It needs to be Windows-based. So a Windows laptop or a Windows tablet, then you'll be able to use this application. So I'm just going to start it up. And the reason you may want to look at using this application is if you're using a Seiko multi-timer, so one person holding onto the multi-timer and pressing the start button when the race starts, and then pressing the lap finish button whenever the race finishes. This is the equivalent of that. So I've just been doing some other things. I'm going to turn off all my gates, and we're just going simple, no peripheral, no hardware required, just a laptop or a tablet with Windows. And I've chosen pack racing out of my options, and now I'm just going to go race. This screen here lets me do a number of things: record times, but then also record who was against that time. So traditionally with a Seiko multi-timer, you would have a bit of paper printed off already with the names of all the athletes. I've then got a Seiko multi-timer that I look for the smoke and I press the start when I see the start. Then I hit my finish button as my athletes are finished. Then I tear that bit of paper off. Then I staple it to my bit of paper where I've got athlete names and start transcribing the times down against those names or something similar. And then that bit of paper and those times, names, places go over to someone else, and then they go and key that data in. So as you've just heard, there's a number of steps versus if you wanted to use this application, if I want to start a race, I could click on the start, but I prefer to use the hotkey, and it's telling me click the control key to start your race. So I'm going to move the mouse over here. I prefer the hotkey because if I've got my mouse on there and I'm moving my head, looking for wherever the starter is, I can accidentally click away from the start button. Then when I hit my keyboard or my mouse to start a race, I can't because I'm not on the start button. So I'm going to use the control key. So I've just pressed the control key and that started the clock on the screen. Notice I haven't even selected a distance that we're running yet. I could do it now if I wanted to, or I could wait. Then I'm going to hit the shift key. That gives me places and times. If I wanted to, I could click this button up here for trigger. And again, it's telling me use the shift key to enter in times of the race. I prefer the shift, much more responsive. So while the race is still running, I can start keying in names. So if I know my first athlete is Timmy, there's Timothy, press enter. If the next person, I know their number because I can see it, it's number 23, I'll key it and I'll press enter. If the next athlete is a visitor, I could just leave it blank. Or I could go in and write in visitor, if I can spell tonight, visitor Jack. That's visitor Jack. Then we've got a few athletes where I can see the numbers. Now you notice we've got mixed age groups here. We've got mixed genders, and it's totally cool with that. It doesn't need to be one age gender per event. Obviously you may prefer that at your center, and so we'll be fine with that as well. But just letting you know, if you've got races and you've got athletes and you want to just get those races done quickly, and there's no issues with letting everyone run together, well then great. Put them in, send them down, job's done. And you can see here I've actually got some PB stars are appearing on the screen. So for these two athletes, Timothy and Solomon, they've just gotten PBs. So Solomon's prior PB was a 17:52, and we can see now he's got a 15:64. And Timothy didn't actually have a PB before, so this is his PB right now. Then when I'm ready to, I can stop the race. And then if I've got the setting turned on, so up here in settings, in web, if I've got automatically upload when race is saving, if I've got that turned on and tonight it actually has these age gender events set up and I press save, it's going to try and upload whatever it can that matches up to ResultsHQ, up to the, which then means straight away those athletes that have results now, they could go on their mum's phone or tablet or dad's phone or tablet and go and see the results that they've just got as well. If I needed to, I could turn on an overlapping race. So allow secondary race timer. So now up here I've got 2 clocks. So I could start one race, have some athletes come through and finishing. Meanwhile then I'm stopping this race. I'll choose a distance. Up in here now I'm putting in some athletes. Meanwhile the next race needs to start, so I can start the next race. I'm nearly finished with this race now. I can have some athletes finish in the behind race. I'm going to hit this 3 times. Now as I press save, those 3 times that we just had come through are now on the screen. There's another few, and I go and put in some more numbers in here. And so on, and repeat. Start the next race, stop this one, get them done. Lots of PBs here, that's great. Save it. Get some times on my next race in the background. Stop that one, process it. So that's what this software is about. It's just trying to save all that paper trail, get the data captured in one spot, tell you if there's a PB or a record on the fly, upload that data if it can straight away, or now we've got 100 races from the morning or the afternoon, and we want to go and get that data uploaded to save somebody having to key it all in. Any questions around the software? Has anyone had a play with this software yet? Graham, I know you're quite familiar with the timing software. Is Janita or...
Never seen the RaceHQ before.
Okay, is that something that you would possibly be interested in using or wouldn't work at your centre?
It might work. We've got to get the technology, though, to be at the finish line, though.
As in a laptop or a tablet?
Or something, yes.
Yep. Yeah, that's obviously can be a challenge. See how you go and just have a play around with it at home even before you get down to the track, just so you're familiar with the software.
Yeah.
What about you, Black Hill?
To send the retros over?
Yeah. Hey guys.
Yeah, you're right.
Hi.
G'day. How's that? Is that software of interest, or that wouldn't work at your centre?
Yeah, no, we're just discussing options of buying equipment now.
Okay. Well, I'll let you guys debate that one. But is there any questions to do with the manual timing that you've just seen here tonight?
No, it looks good.
Okay, and just to clarify, you could, if you were lucky enough to have a number of laptops or tablets with Windows at your centre, some centres can have 3 or 4 timing areas where they're all running independent of each other. That's totally fine as well. So if you're lucky enough to be in that position, then go for it. Otherwise, you can run a mixture of Seikos at one area, have one of these at another area, and then mash it all together later on. But yeah, so that's this software. So if there's no more questions, I'll bounce out of RaceHQ and we'll go on to CompetitionHQ. Is everyone cool with that?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm just going to close out of here. So that was RaceHQ. Now, actually, one thing that I've kind of glossed over is how do you go about getting this application and how do you get to have a play with it? Is there any licenses? Where do I download it? It's all available up in the support area. So if I come back here to Webland, and I'm now back in the Center Admin area, which is hopefully kind of familiar to most of you. If I just come on the Support tab, and I write in up here RaceHQ, search. Any of these is going to get me to the right area, so I'll just click on any of these. All I want to do is just want to come back up to the top level of RaceHQ. And so this tells me all the different groupings and subgroupings to do with. The one we're looking at tonight is the new one that we're going to be releasing soon, which is this 3 series. So this topic here talks about, has an overview and also lets you download it. So I'd come in here. There's a little video just showing you what it's all about. And this is the click here to download button. So you click on that and download it and start playing with it. So I'll jump back out of here. So now we're going to have a look at CompetitionHQ. Now the background on CompetitionHQ, even centers that have really good internet, not all of them, but some of them prefer to use this for data entry. So for them, it's not a matter of we've got no internet or poor internet, so we want to use this application. For them, it's a matter of I just prefer to key data into this screen than into web pages. Web pages, as you're probably familiar, do have challenges as far as they have to load the data. Everything seems to take a bit longer. It's not an instantaneous thing. So versus in here, if I want to load up some information, I just click on my buttons and there's all my information on the screen. So ResultsHQ will only let you have one age, gender, event open at one time. You can have multiple tabs open, as in multiple pages, for my 6-mile discus, another tab for 6-mile shot put, another tab for 6-mile hundreds, and so on. But I can't go and mash together my 6 and 7s, male and females, into the one screen. So I can see I've got 6 females, 7 males, 7 females, 7 male, and so on. So if you do tend to put a lot of age, gender groups together and you just want to key them in to one screen instead of multiple screens, and this is where CompetitionHQ may be something that will help you achieve that. Definitely, if that's a big requirement of yours, then I'd say have a look at this, have a play with it, and again, it's all free, so just pick and choose what works best for you. But just to keep my screen simple, I'm just going to throttle it back so I don't have lots of names on the screen. I'll add in males. With this screen, it's built, because this is field event, discus, it's built to ask for 3 results. It will automatically choose the best and it'll place them based off whatever the best is. So if I'm keying in from paper trail, so I've got all the paper that's gone out, my recording forms, and they're coming back in, I don't really want to key in all 3 results for demo, this first athlete, because on the bit of paper it tells me the best result out of the 3. So why key in 3 when I can just key in 1 result? So I'm just going to key in now 12, and it's already moved across, 34. If I press enter, it goes down. If I press tab, it goes across. So we can see straight away that 1234 is the first result, and it's come up here as the best. So currently, demo, the 6 female here, she's first. There's a new potential record. There's a trophy with a line through it, and the result has not been uploaded. However, if I wanted to, I could key in a N for no throw, and then her third result was a 1343. That is now her best. We've still got the status here saying that it's a potential record and that it hasn't been uploaded and her status is okay. Next athlete is Sally Strawberry. She did a 1543. She's now first. Demo is second, and so on. There's a PB here for Sally. I could just leave it as just this one column and go and key in the rest of the ones below, and then we keep seeing the places change on the fly as we go down. If somebody had a no throw for the whole event, again I can just put an N in. The moment there's a no throw, as well as no other active results, we can see the status for Anish test is no throw. Everyone else has okay. I could go and overwrite any of these if I want to, or just leave them as okay. DNS means did not start, and that's the default for anyone that does not have a result. The other way that this application potentially is more flexible and better used out in the field is I don't even have to have the age genders selected. I can just start typing in names. So if I've got bits of paper coming in and I just want to do things on the fly, one bit of paper says athlete 25 or 24, I press tab, it goes and looks it up. We've now got a 16 female, which is 24 Octavia McDonald. It's already highlighted the 16s for us, and I can go and key in her results. So I can just build it all on the fly. I don't actually have to choose these up here. I can just key it and use it. So that's one way to work with your field events. If I was keying in all my track results, so I could go and turn these off, and we're going to go to 200s. Oh, sorry. So if I did want to upload all the results that I had there, I'm just going to load everyone on the screen. I can actually go and sort this by place, like what I've just done now. And then I can go and upload. And then this will go and upload whoever it can based on the events and so there's only 2 athletes that had a matching age gender event. That was demo from the demo center, Sally Strawberry and demo. Everyone else didn't have a matching age gender event is what it's telling me. Cool. So now instead of being in this area, we're going to key in some track. So I'm just going to load up. I don't even need these. I can just click on the 200 and I've got a bit of paper now. Let's say we're not using RaceHQ and we're using Seiko multi-timers. Then all we need to do is key in some numbers. So I'm just going to key in athlete 12, tab, did a 12:34, enter. Athlete 14, tab, did an 11:56, enter. Athlete 76 did 14:32, and so on. So that's an easy way to key in your track if you're not using the timing software. Straight away I get to see if there's a PB, potential records, nothing's uploaded, and it's filling out automatically for me my age and genders as I'm keying in numbers. Any questions about that? No?
To get the athletes' names in this one, does it link through to your ResultsHQ if you've got them all loaded in there?
Yes. So everything, all your applications at some point, good question, Janita, need to connect to your profile and bring down your latest members. So always head up to the settings, and in the web tab, you've got an option here that it will automatically try and bring down your latest athletes, PBs, records, events, and so on every time the application starts. If I want to manually do it, I just come into web tab and click this button. This will then
get... see which button you're clicking, I've been lost again.
Oh, was that you that just dropped out? All right, well, when you jump back in, you may get to see this, but basically click on the settings, click on web, and hit a big refresh button, and it'll bring down your latest members, PBs, events, records, and so on. And now that sounds like you jumping back in. Let me go and accept that. There you are. So yeah, come up here. Can you see the screen yet, Janita?
Yes, I can.
So come up here to settings. I'm in the web tab. Refresh. And these athletes will all get reloaded into the system. And then I press finish. And then I'll have all my athletes based on whatever's in ResultsHQ right now. If we wanted to do high jump, because that's not in my list up here, I'm just going to go to event list and jumps. We're going to get some high jump action happening. is it? There we go, high jump. Now if I went to high jump, I've got the option to just key in from paper, which is just the simple method. So who's this? Aidan McDonald. He did a 123. And Jack, he also did a 123. But based on count back, Aidan was the winner, so I'm going to make Jack second. And then Elias, he did a 120, his third, and so on. So we can just go through and key everything in. Another way of doing high jump is if I close these guys out and we go and turn on in general or untick simple high jump, and we go and do fancy pants high jump. I'm going to come in here to 7 male high jump, and my first height is going to be 1 meter. Next is going to be 110 and 120. This athlete here jumps and clears first go, so I click once, get a green circle. This athlete doesn't, so I click twice and they failed, but then they cleared on the second jump. First and second straight away for me. This athlete doesn't make it on the first or the second, but does on the third. Now first, second, third off the same height. Meanwhile, this athlete here is a hot shot, and they're actually just going to sit out and wait for a higher starting point for them. They're saving their energy. And then this athlete here, they actually bombed out. So click twice and one more twice. And if I scroll across here, we'll be able to see that they've got a no jump as well as Isaac. This lets you have up to 25 attempt heights. So that's one big crazy jump off happening. So you'll just keep scrolling across further and further as you keep adding more heights in. Now that we've got some athletes with some results that are positive or a success, we can start them on the next height. I can't do that for anyone else that doesn't have a green circle or a yellow dash. I can't actually go and put in some other attempts. So only these ones here can I go and put in attempts. So I've got first and then third and fourth based on the history of these athletes at this point. We can see PBs, we can see that it hasn't uploaded, and we can see over here the status of where they're up to, no jumps and OKs and so on. So that's the last part of CompetitionHQ if you wanted to. So this is built for being more in the field. If you're lucky enough to have a laptop out at your high jump area, then this saves people having to know what count back means, and they just tick and cross as it's happening. Any questions out there?
I have one.
Yep, what's yours, Janita?
You know how you added high jump in? Would that automatically be there if it was part of the, your program from your ResultsHQ?
Great question. Yes, so when we do that refresh, it looks at today or it looks a couple of weeks into the future and finds the relevant events that you've got coming up. And then they will always be in your event list there. So each week it will keep changing to match what you're expecting.
Okay. But then if somebody does something different, you can just add that in at that time. That's
it. So if you had to add an event on the fly, do it, but you won't be able to upload it until that's actually set up in ResultsHQ. So
okay.
You can only upload, unless you turn on a secret little setting, but you can only upload a matching age, gender, event, date.
But it'll give you a little message box like...
That's it. So I'll try to do this. I'll hit upload now, and it's saying, boom, red crosses. None of these went up. You go, all right. Oh, I need to go turn it on. That's right. We've just added high jump in. I'll go do that now.
Okay.
And it's even telling you that here. Any crossed out events have not been created in ResultsHQ. Please create them and then upload again. Any other questions? I'll jump. Oh, if I wanted to go and look, yep, someone.
Yeah, mate.
Hey, Graham.
I've got a question. If we sometimes, hey, go.
Good.
Sometimes we call the athletes away from high jump, go do a race, and they start back after they do their race.
Yep.
Do we just continue on, or?
Yeah. So as long as well, depends, I guess, on where your bar's up to. Are you going to then drop the bar back down to the prior heights and let them attempt at the heights that they missed out on that everyone else is on? Or will you just give them dashes, as in the pass, and they jump in at whatever height you're up to at that point in time? How would you work that one?
I think most of the time I think they drop it back to where they left off.
Okay, so if I was an athlete, Oliver Bairstow, and I had to take off and I missed a 1 meter height, so I would just give him 3 dashes or 3 clicks to give him a dash. And then I come back, it was just had the 100, so it didn't take long. I'm back now. I could come back and try the 100, or I could sit out and jump in at the 110 if I wanted to.
Okay, no worries. Understand that.
Good one. And one other thing, if I needed to go and look at other dates, so we're not just talking about today, or even if we ran it today but we didn't have internet. So tomorrow morning, I've gotten up, had my coffee, about to attack the day. Oh, that's right, I need to upload the results from yesterday. I'll just go and find the results that it has saved, load that up, and then start doing my upload sequence to get all that data up there. And the other part that I didn't mention is there's no save button on the screen, you may notice. That's because every time I move or I change something, so that's saved, that's saved, that's saved, and so on. Excuse me. So that basically means as long as you've finished keying something in, if the computer crashed right then, not that we ever want them to, but they do that, especially when you don't want them to, then all the data up to that point in time will be saved. And one other point that I didn't go over before is if there is an updated version of the timing software or of this CompetitionHQ, down the bottom, this will flash and it'll be yellow. And it'll also, if you moused over it, would tell you there's an update available. So if we come in here, someone's coming back in. That's Janita again. G'day. So then this lets you download the latest version, and then it'll restart with that. So you shouldn't have to keep going back to the web area to see what version number we're up to. Just use this little mouse over and that will let you know. Any more questions about CompetitionHQ? All right, I'll jump out of here. So we go back to our little slide pack. So we've talked about registrations coming across, but only if they're active and financial into ResultsHQ. We've then had a look at RaceHQ and CompetitionHQ and how they are Windows only. There is an Android version of CompetitionHQ that we won't go through tonight, but that is available if you did want to use an Android tablet or an Android phone to key your data in without needing internet. But just the focus of tonight is all the Windows ones. So they will let you record data without internet, and then when you do have internet, upload race by race or every race from the morning or the night, and same for CompetitionHQ. The moment you do, the athletes will then see it in their area, plus then up here in center admin area, you'll be able to view and edit any of that information. This is just a bit of a screenshot of the different areas, so we can be keying into ResultsHQ via paper. We can be uploading from our timing software, which should either just be doing manual timing, or if we're lucky enough to have a set of gates, then we could have that hooked up. Or we could be using CompetitionHQ and then uploading later on. But either way, the end goal, as always, is trying to get the results out to the kids and the families as quick as we can, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Their results and their PBs. So we're now officially, unless there's any more questions, up to the family login area. And what is that? What's it look like? What's happening in there? If If you haven't been in there for all of winter, fair enough, totally understand. That's what off-season's all about, going and doing something else. But things have changed a little bit since last time you were in there, if you haven't been back yet. So there is this screen here, which is a new family area looking screen. You can have your little avatars and icons there. If you're on your phone, that will still be the same. So it's web-based, so it's just like this one here, but it knows you're on a small screen, so it's adaptive, and it tries to look more like an app. Little Ass Australia sent out an email, which was a bit of a confusing one as far as they were telling everyone there's an app coming out, but what they was trying to explain is that the web app is available, which is this thing here, which looks like an app when you're on a small screen, but that's always been around, so that's there for you to use. As long as you've got the right login credentials, then you can use either of these two. What you can do as a center, you can have a special day, so whether it's a multi-day or a gala day of some sort, and you can create a certificate in your center admin area. So you could print off certificates and hand them out. They've got a hard copy to take home, which is always a great thing. As well as, or you go and produce this and push it through to their family area, so that the next time they log in, they'll have a little notification saying, here's a certificate available, and then they'll be able to see that, and they'll be able to view it and print it off if they want to. Then also the tickets. These have had a big update recently, and so that's what's also available in the family area. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump into the family area and we'll go have a look at this sort of stuff in real life. So go into the web and come up here. So ResultsHQ.com.au, this is where the families log in. This is my little demo family that I've got set up. So I'm just going to log in. The common question here is, how do we let the athletes know what their username and password is? I'll just jump out quickly and just run you through how we do that. Within ResultsHQ, this is the center admin area. You can use a communicate. So come up here to communication and communicate. You would then send an email to everyone from here, and the content of that email we've already pre-written for you if you want to use it or edit it. But if I come over here onto support and I write family template, if I spell that correct, here's a help topic describing how to get to the communicate area, and once you are there, what you're trying to do, and here's some content. So I would copy this, Control C, copy, come in here, close that down, paste this in. Now paste it in this content. I'll give it a subject, welcome to the new season, or whatever it needs to be, and get that happening. So what that's now going to let me do is send out an email to everyone that has a link to the YouTube explaining what it is and what it looks like when you're in there. It also then tells them a bit of information. It says this is where you need to go, and key in this email that you've just received the email on into the forgot my password, and here's the link to forgot my password. And then that will then send them an email with their login credentials. So they'll be able to come back here, put in their username and password, and log on in. So that's the steps that's available. So once they've logged in, I have all the kids and their results, assuming you've got some results uploaded for them. It's definitely recommended to wait till you've got results up there before you communicate to everyone to go and have a look, because otherwise they'll jump in and be a bit bare and a bit empty, and what's this about? This is all a bit boring, a bit confused. As soon as you've got results, it all makes a bit more sense. So each of these athletes, we can actually change their little profile picture by coming up here to Smith and profile. Within here is all the family information that's come across from IMG, which me as a family, I can edit and update this. Here's each of my athletes, my kids in the family. I can go and update things, including the picture and other things like that. And then that will all flow back through to the center admin area. So that's how I go and change that. And if I'm using the Android app, this will actually come down as an image next to that child within the screen on my Android tablet. So let's go have a look at Robert's 800s. So here's a graph of all these 800s that he's done. If I mouse over it, it tells me when it was and what it was. If I wanted to look at all these 800 tickets, I'll click on the View Tickets. And here's all these 800 tickets that he could print off. Hit the print button, print away. If I wanted to see what dates things were, then I can look at it down here. If Robert was a part of his current center is called Matt's Center. If he went to an invitational, or he went to a region or a zone or a state where they were using ResultsHQ, and he did an 800 at those events, it would mash into this one screen and into this graph all these 800s from wherever it's been for the season. So it would have his zone, his region, his state, his invitational, his gala day, whatever else he's been up to, would all be in this one screen and one graph. And it would say where it was and when it was that he did it. If I wanted to look at any of his other events that he's done this season, so his hundreds, that's how his hundreds are blue. Let's have a look at his turbo jav. That's how his turbo jav's gone, and so on. The number of PBs for each of these down the side. If I wanted to look at Robert by date, then I could just click on the 11th and see what he did on that date. He only had 2 events, and I could click the ticket icon and print his tickets for the 11th. And then that goes for the same for Robert's siblings. If I wanted to have a look at the whole family and what the whole calendars look like for the season, click on calendar and I can see Robert. Here's the dates in February. Here's each of the events that he did on those dates, or at least had available to him. Everything for December, November, and so on. If I want to print off all of Robert's season's tickets, then come up here and it's now printed off his season performance tickets for everything there. If we wanted to have a look at results for other people within the center, this is an option for you to turn on or off. Not every center wants this available. So I thought I had my emails off. Then by choosing different age, gender, event combinations, if there are results in there, there's a bit of a junk database that may not have something against everything. So see if I can snag some. There we go. So on the 11th of December, 7 females did the 60 meters, and here's all the events, all the athletes that did it, and the places, and there's a lot of PBs there by the looks of it. Then I could look at their long jump, and so on. I could even go and have a look at historical seasons, if they had historical data, and go and look through that. If I wanted to look at the records, then up here I just choose the different age, gender, event, and home, and here's the current records that are available for the 12 females, and so on. So that's the family area. That's what they get to view and see. And if I was on a smaller screen, then it would adapt and it would look a bit different, but the outcome is still the same. Any questions about that? So what the end goal is that we're working on here is to actually have a printable version at the end of the season. There'll be a button there. You'll be able to upload your own photo of your own child. So in this case, Erin has uploaded her photo. She wants to print off her year's achievement book. It would then have all her tickets in there. It would have the bios that the state and national levels put in, along with some sponsors and so on. But basically, it would be customized to be her booklet. So instead of her having to have handwritten tickets that she then goes and glues in there, it's all just happening. And if then she wants to send that PDF off to her mum, Well, then she can do that, or she can, someone just dropped out, or they can go down to Officeworks or somewhere and print it off as well. So there's different ways to manage that. And that's what the mobile version screens look like. So graphs and tickets and so on are all in there too. So that covers off the 1 hour marker nearly and those first couple subjects. Now we're going to get into the season preparation or season start and some basics. Is that where everyone's up to, or have we gone over something a bit too quick? No? Okay, well, let's kick on then. Season rollover. We've already had a bit of a quick look at the support area when I was showing you how to get to RaceHQ and CompetitionHQ, but that's just a little reminder on how to get to them. So the season rollover, what is this about? It's trying to archive your results, so not delete them, not lock them away so you can never see them again, just archive them. It's then also trying to do an update to your season. Suspend your members. Again, we're not deleting your members and all their history. We're just suspending them, waiting for them to re-register for the new season. And then the last step here is to update your users. And the users are a pretty important step there each year to make sure that all the new people that are on your committee are able to have access, and those people that are not a part of your committee that don't need access are no longer able to access because their profile, you've either changed the password or you've deleted that profile altogether so they can't get back in. So the steps for that are pretty straightforward and are all available up here. So if I wanted to, I'd come in here to Center Admin area. I would go to More, come down here to Season Rollover. Everyone's pretty well done a rollover, so you should be across this or at least familiar with it in some way. If I wanted to, I'd archive the current season, but I don't want to do that. But this is where I can go and export any prior season. If I needed to suspend all my members, then I could do that. And this is where I do my update, my user list. And wherever you are in the system, if you see a green question mark, if you click on that, that will then open up the help topic relative to the page that you're on. So this is now walking through the season rollover steps and what it's trying to do. So that's the season rollover. So hopefully everyone's done that one because the season's right on your doorstep, already started for some of you. Any questions on season rollover? Okay, the users, this one is really important. So if you haven't been using it in the past, please start using it this season. Basically, the user is a profile that somebody will have which will let them in to do particular roles. And all those different roles have different responsibilities, and some are just view, some can edit and view. So there's a few reasons there to make sure you've got them set up, and some you can set up to be club specific. So if I only want somebody to be able to enter results, then I give them a results profile. If I only want people to be able to print reports for just their club, not the other clubs within our center, then I just isolate it to be just their club and so on. So make sure you have a good look at that, and any questions, just sing out. We'll be able to help you get the right user level for what you're trying to do. The area that we go and set up users, just to make that really clear, just come up to Setup and Users. And then in here, this is where you've got all your current users. If I wanted to add a new one, I'll click on this, choose a title, give them a username, first name, last name, phone, email, and then this is the access level. This is what we're talking about which one do we want to give them and what are they trying to do. And then if need be, what club do we want them to only have access to, or just leave it open for everyone. That's the users. Now a bit of a refresher. Literally had a call probably half an hour before the webinar of somebody that's been using the system for 4 years and he's been away from it all winter, and he just needed a quick reminder on what he needed to do again on how to set up a template. So it's kind of similar to setting up a new program, but what we're going to look at right now is just this part, season calendar. It's on the home page here when you log in. If you haven't spent much time on here, this graph here is showing you all your age, gender groups. So my ages are underneath, so under 6, under 7, under 8, and so on. The red are the females, blues are the males. So this is telling me that for male under 17, there are 17 participants. I could click on this, I could see who they are. I could click on their first name and see what results they've got. So this person's got nothing. Maybe this one has something. Yep, there we go. So there's a couple of results here for this athlete. If I click on their last name, it takes me to their family information and then would show me their siblings as well if they had some. If I wanted to find an athlete in another way, I knew part of their name, I could just put in Tim. And here's everyone with Tim in their name. Or I could put in a number and bring up this person. Again, I click on their first name to see results, last name to see the family information, or update if I wanted to go and change their age group or some other bits of information here. Also on the home page, you will notice all these dates and different bits of information. They have all come there because somebody has set up a program to allow results to occur on a particular date. So we've uploaded some data that was able to go up for the 7th being today. So I'm just going to jump in there and we'll see what it was. The default screen here is for events that do not have any results. So we can see 0 of 2, 0 of 27, 0 of 30 and so on. But if I go with results, it will show me these couple of events that I uploaded results from earlier from the timing software and from CompetitionHQ. So if I click on this, there's Demo and Sally that we uploaded. So that's their results there. And if we go back to with results and go to the 200s, we can see Demo and Sally again with their results from the 200s that we uploaded. From the home screen, this graph here, this horizontal one, tells me the number of athletes that have attended out of my potential. So this is telling me 11 of 729 athletes, then 0, then 7 and 6 and 4. So for any given week, you'll be able to see this dark blue snaky line going up and down the page based on how your attendance has occurred for each week. If I wanted to see who attended, then I could click on that and drill down into there. This column here is the number of PBs. So for any given week, we can see how many PBs occurred on this week. And again, I could click on it, go and see. Not sure why it's not showing anything. There we go. So here's some athletes and the PBs that they got. Same goes for records. This column here tells me how many centre records were broken on a given week. And this far column tells me how many points are being calculated. So if I'm expecting points to be calculated each week, and I look at this page and there's lots of zeros, and I go, hang on, either I haven't set something up properly or I haven't been calculating the points. Either way, I can see that something's not quite right. Same goes for my PBs and for my records and so on. It's just a good visual check to know that everything's making sense. But going back to what we're trying to do is setting up another date. So the start of the season, this will all be empty. There won't be anything in here because you haven't added any age, gender, event combinations in for a date. So we hit season calendar, or I prefer to use the event calendar because it's always there up the top of my screen. I don't have to come back to the home page to click on the season calendar. I can just go to the top from any screen and grab that. The next step is to press the plus button, basically adding a new date. So I'll give it a name, demo day, program. I can put something in if I wanted to. So program A, and the meet date, we'll make this on Friday. Now I've got options here. I can create this from scratch by clicking on my buttons and clicking on my events that I want to add in for this age gender combination, and then press save or add events. that will go and build out all the age, gender, event combinations that I've just added. And as I scroll down, I'll start to see them here. 6, 7, and 10s are all doing high jump, 700 and 100s. I could then go and add in some other ones for the 6 and 7 males because they're doing something slightly different. They're doing a 400 and so on. So I can just keep repeating and layering up. Obviously that can take a little while and you don't want to have to do that each week. So you have the option to copy an existing meet. So let's say we're running a 3-week rotation. Once I've built this out for the first 3 weeks, I just then want to repeat that each week. So I could come in here and choose whichever week it was, grab this one, have a preview of it just to make sure it is what I was expecting. Yep, that's the right one. I could even add it to my favorites if I want. Then I can go and copy that date and it'll go and layer that in on top of whatever else I've got set up there. So that's a quick way. Once you build each 3 weeks, then it's all there. If we've uploaded data for you from last season, and the cool part is those dates will also be available. So if you haven't changed your program from last season to this season, then you'll be able to go and find it and copy it and start using it straight away without having to go and recreate it from scratch. The other option is you can use a template. So let's say this here is my program that I don't want to change. I want to keep using this whenever I can. If I do the show advance, I can actually make this a template. So it's my demo template and I'm going to save it. So now instead of creating it by myself or copying an existing one, the copying an existing one works well, but if you've gone and done a tweak and you've forgotten about it, you're going to keep copying that tweak in. Versus if you use a template, it's like a static rubber stamp unless you go and purposely change it. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to grab my, where is it, demo template. And I could preview it again, then I could go and manage it if I needed to tweak it, otherwise I go and apply it. The last option there is import. Let's say I've been to some other carnival or some other event that another centre's having. It's like, that was awesome. I love it. I want to run that at our centre. You could say, excuse me, can you go and export that for me? So that would come into their profile. They would export it, email it to you. You would then get it and you'd go and browse for it from wherever it is you've saved it and bring it in, and you've now copied that and it's now a part of your world if you wanted to keep reusing it. You could then make it a template of your own and so on. So that's how you go about setting up a meet. The default is the matrix view. You can go to list view, which then gives you a different view and different options as well. It now lets you set up handicaps or lane draws or do nominations for a particular event. Here's all the athletes by default that are nominated in, but I don't want that athlete in or this one. Only these two are going to be nominated. Then that's how you do it. Otherwise, you can add them back in again. You can then just do a recording form just for this single event. Doesn't like that for some reason. And if I wanted to edit something, then I could come in here and change whatever I needed to, the start time, the order, division, and so on. There's a whole bunch of things you could use in there. So that list area is more if you're getting into your carnival type area where you need more detail and more control on things. Hence the default is matrix, because most little lay centers don't need all that. They just want to get the right age, gender, events set up, print off recording sheets, key it in, job's done. Nothing else required. That's just a bit more FYI in case you're needing to go down that path. Any questions around setting up?
What's the handicap setup?
Handicap, good question. If you're running a handicap, which could be distance related, as in we're running a 400 meter handicap on a circular track, my fastest athlete is off 400 and my slowest athlete based on the personal best of my fastest athlete and the slowest athlete's PB, it figures out that there needs to be a 23-meter distance advantage to my slowest athlete to try and get them to finish at the same time as my fastest athlete. That's what that does. Or you may do a time handicap where we're running a 2K cross country and I want everyone to try and finish around the same time. They're all going to run 2K, so my slowest kid's off first and my fastest kid is off last. And based on the history of that athlete's, it will then tell me what time they need to be sent off to try and get a close finish if we needed to. Does that answer that question, Graham?
Sort of, because we're looking at running a handicap meet in December.
Okay, well, we can have more of a chat about that offline if you want and just go through some more detail on that.
Okay, no worries.
So we're up to an hour 20 now. So assuming everyone's pretty comfortable still, I'll just keep pushing on. So that's how you set up your calendar. The next step that we want to normally do is, so that's what this screen's trying to show us, is we want to go and print off a recording sheet. So
Can
again,
you just log me in again?
oh, sorry, are you waiting, are you?
Well, it just says one participant has removed me.
Yeah, try and jump back in. I can't see you trying to, yeah. So the next step is, once we've gone and set up the age, gender events, is to go and print off our recording forms. So again, I could click on this button on my home page, recording forms, or as I prefer to do, come up to event, recording forms. And then from here, it will then let me select, if I wanted to just do my, there you are, you're back now, accept. If I wanted to, I could do throws and distance and it'll bring up those, or just my sprints, or all. And even once they're up, I can still use my control key and select individual ones. Same goes for age groups, or use individual ones. Genders obviously do the same. If I'm running age grouping, then I can do that. So basically that's another setting area where you can create a group, and that just means that printing off a paper will bring those age genders together. I still have to key them in separate screens if I'm using ResultsHQ. However, if I was using CompetitionHQ, then obviously you may remember it lets me merge together age and genders. So that's where that's handy. If I wanted to, especially at the start of the season, I want to add some blank rows because there's lots of newbies turning up. So I want to add some blank, neat lines there for everyone to be able to use. So I'm just going to turn all this on. I'm just going to do a preview now. So here we go, 6 females. The date of the event is the 7th. The current record holder is X-King, and it's 4.75. Sally and Demo, they've got their PBs on the sheet, and here's our extra lines for our newbies that are going to turn up, hopefully. Someone set up some rules. They are now printing off on this sheet for shot put, and so on. Here's a big club here, or a big group. This is the 7 female discus. 1, 2, 3 attempts, and their best would go in here. All I need to do now is just hit my print button, and I'll split them out. Now, not everybody wants to have an age gender event per A4 because that's a lot of A4s and they don't have many kids. So instead of using regular, you'd use condensed, and I'll show you what that means. So just to refresh, 6 females had the discus and shot put and 700 all on the one page, on separate pages, versus if we go to condensed, here they are now. Their field events has 3 attempts and space for the best. Their track just has a big area here to go and put in their one track time. And here's, you're back again, Danita. Right. So they've got blank rows, and so this is the condensed versus the regular. So choose how you want to play that, which one you want to do. But either way, once you've got it, the next step is to go and key in the results from this paper trail that has come in. So just any questions on recording sheets? No. Okay, so I'll close this down. So to key in results, you go to your home page, go to the relevant date. As mentioned before, the default are all the events that have not had a result entered. So at the end of the day, ideally, this screen would be empty because all your events have something in there. So I'd just go to with results and I'd see all my results versus if I didn't have that on, if I was without. So some people, especially at the start of the season, are like, oh my God, all my results have disappeared. Where are they? It's like, they're fine. They're just under with results. They're not on the default without results screen. So if I wanted to go and key results now for 6 female, I could just click on the 700, then come in here and go edit, enter results. Start entering some times. So I'm just going to do 0, 1, and it'll tab across automatically. 1, 2, tabs again by itself, and then 3, 4. And then hit tab to drop down, and we can see it's already made this person okay for a status. And do 0, 2, 5, 4, 2, 1. Then once I'm finished, I just press save. So here it's saying we don't have a current record, but either of these could be the new record holder. Don't want to do anything with that. Normally, most people leave this as no. They want to save it for the committee to go and sign off on. So I'm just going to do this option here. And then we can go back. And now the 6 female 200 is no longer on this list because we're now in the with results area. If you want a little tip, instead of having to open up one page and come back and then open up the next page and come back because all the 7 female paperwork has come in, if you hold the control key down and you click on 700, there's a new tab up here. Click on shot put, there's another tab that's just open. Discus, there's another tab. So now if I go to this tab, there's my 700s, click enter, click enter, click enter, go back to my first one, key in all my data, press save, key in all my data, press save, key in all my data, press save, and then just come and close them out, and I'm back to where I were, and then go and use my control key and open up a bunch of new tabs and so on. So that's just a little quick tip there on how to open up multiple tabs. And Janita, back.
Yes, I wanted to see that.
I'll give you a quick demo again if you want.
Sorry to hold everybody up, but it keeps dropping out.
No worries. So to open up multiple age, genders, pages, if you hold the control key on your keyboard, and I'm going to click on 700, there's a new tab up the top. Click on 200, there's another tab. Click on shot put, another one, and then discus. I've now got 4 tabs open for these different events. So then once I've gone and keyed in, I just close them out, and I'm back to where I were, and then go and do the next batch.
Good, because that in and out gets tedious.
Yes, yep, totally. Good old web pages. So that's how that one is. Close that out. So any questions on results entry and recording sheets? No. Okay, so that in theory covers off. So that's an hour 10 now we've been going for, an hour 20. All the basic bits and pieces. We haven't covered off points. Does anybody want to have a quick look at points and how that works, or is everyone comfortable with points? Everyone's good. We could call it a night now, unless people want to go and have a look at the advanced features area.
Can you show us the points?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So let's come in up here. So points. Go to setup and points. In here, you've got a variety of point options that you can turn on. I'm sorry, not turn on, that you can set up. So let's go to place points, for example. First place gets 0 points, second gets 0. Someone's had a bit of fun here and set up a bit of a nonsense points type. If I go to another one, here we go. So someone set up first place gets 2 for Division A. So that's how you set up your place points. If I wanted to do PB points, then I click on PB. If I've got an equal first, an equal PB, then this has been set up to be 1 point. If they better a PB, then they get 5, is how they've got this set up at the moment. If I wanted to change that, I'll just click on update and I'll change this to 3 and 6 and press save. That's now 3 and 6. PBs are a bit trickier because there's a few variations there that each centre tends to have. If your first result for the season is going to be a benchmark, then you would make this exclude athlete's first result yes, meaning that if Johnny turns up and does his first discus for the season, he won't get a PB star, he won't get a PB point, he won't get a PB flag. He'll have to better whatever that result is next week or whenever they next do discus. Versus if I leave this set to no, then the first result Johnny does will be a PB, he will get a point, he will get a PB flag, but he still has to better it next time if you want to get another PB. So that's the difference between those two. Some clubs don't like having equal PBs flagged. Some clubs want the PBs or season best from last season, if they've got data, rolled over to be the new season best value for this season. There's a few options there to choose from on PBs and how to set that up. Another classic is attendance. For every meet that I turn up, so if I turned up tonight and did one event, then I would get 3 points for the meet, plus an extra point per event, so I'd actually get 4 attendance points, is how that's set up. So you've got all these different options on what you can turn, what you may want to have set up, and you can go back and readjust these and recalculate. But just because I've got these set up doesn't mean I'm actually going to get these points for any given week. That has to be done in calculate. So I can click on this one or go to event, calculate. This is where it all comes together. This is where you're telling the system what points you want to calculate for any given week. Lots of tick boxes there because we've got banding, CR comp, place, PB, attendance, blah, 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 blah. For any given week, I could turn on any of these in any combination that I see fit. So tonight, I want PBs and I want attendance. I don't want any place points tonight because it's not one of those nights. I'll then come across here and hit the calculate all, and it would go and calculate the points for tonight based on the results that I've got for those athletes. So if we always want PB and attendance for every single week, then make sure that as I build out my calendar, I come in here and tick on PB attendance. One of these weeks may be a multi-week, so I actually come across here and I'll tick on the IAAF or Alberta, depending on which one I've got set up. But instead of having to click here and wait for this little spinning wheel to finish times 30, all I need to do is come up here, put this on here, and that will then load up a screen where I can put in my email, and when it's finished doing all these calcs, it will send me an email saying, hey, just finished doing all your calculations, go and check it out when you're ready to have a look. So if I go back to the home page now, on the 7th, we've now got 42 points that are being calculated based on the results that we've got. Does that help cover off the points conversation there for Blacktown?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Great. Any other questions on point?
Sorry? Oh.
Get your mic on.
You were wanting to ask.
Any other questions on points, guys?
Will it let you break it down to top points per age group?
Yeah, good question.
Like points per age?
So if we come in here to reports and leaderboard, this is then where you get all your filters and sorts. So we could do age, gender points, so 6 female, 6 male breakdowns and so on. Number of results per event. There's lots of options in here. There's over 200 centres using this platform around Australia, and everyone seems to have their own way of wanting to calculate points, which is great for them, but tough for us. So there's a variety of ways in here to try and make it all possible. Top number of weeks that you want to use or not, minimum attendance. Only athletes that have done 70% or more want to be in my final list. I could look at just separate age genders, minimum event attendance, only looking at particular events if I wanted to. So I only want to look at high jump and long jump for a special trophy that we've got for a deceased member, and we call it the Jumps Memorial or whatever it is. And only looking at particular dates or all the dates, and only looking at one type of point structure or 2-point structure or whatever. Once I've decided whatever I need to decide, I then come down here and click on View, and based on the points available, obviously there's none that match my criteria, it would then bring up the relevant points totals for my age, gender groups and so on that I've just looked for. And then if I need to, I could export this out to Excel and go and do whatever I need to with that. Or if I come to Events, Calculate, then in here I can spit out the nitty-gritty detail, everything, all the results and all the points available, and I do my own lookup or my own pivot table or my own kind of mashing together of data and produce whatever report I need to produce from there. The other one is then doing your season certificates. So this will then give you a certificate at the end of the season or whichever date you want to print it for. And it'll look something like this, assuming there's some athletes with some results. Here we go. So this is a certificate that tells them the events they've done, their current season best, the number of PBs, the number of times they did that event, their average, how many PBs they've got, the attendance percentage for the season, the number of CRs they've done, their points for track, points for field, and points total. And hopefully that's everything that you need. And then if I wanted to, I go Control P, let's split that out to page breaks. And that's how it'd start to look. Does that cover off all the points conversations there?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Any other questions? Did we want, yeah.
In regards to when you have a gala day, how do you, when you've got different clubs coming in for the gala day,
yep.
How do you record their the club and their rego number without getting them mixed up with your own club?
Very good question. So that's what we're about to look at now, which is perfect timing for that question. So in the advanced features, you can do an inter-center competition, which basically means you can invite other centers to a profile, and then they will then be able to be a part of that profile for that. So normally that would be for a year, like it's a seasonal thing. So what that means is you would say, hey guys, can you please set me up a profile? And I need this profile to be called the Gala Spectacular. Go, yep, cool, no worries. That would then mean you would have to invite your own center to this event that you've got set up. and whichever other centers that you want to be set up. So how do you do that? First of all, once we've set up your profile, it's exactly the same as your current profile, except it's called something different and you've got different user credentials to get in there. You'd build up your age, gender, event program as you normally would. Nothing different there. It's just a matter of building up your program. Just hold on a sec. I've just got to quickly get the charger because you've been on my phone this whole time, Janita. I've just realised my battery's about to die.
Oh, well, that's all right. Well, I'll quit there because I don't need to know
Okay.
this information. I've got what I needed.
All right. Well, thanks for your time tonight, and thanks for your patience for jumping in and out like that.
Yeah, it keeps dropping me out. I'm out again at the moment.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll finish up. Thanks. You've helped me with a few loading results and things like that, so that's good.
Great. All right. No worries, Janita.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. So once you've gone and set up your age, gender, events, and you want to invite another center, it's very straightforward. So you just come into your normal event calendar view. Normally you'd hit the eyeball here to go and edit and tweak your program if you needed to. But instead of hitting on the eyeball for view, you'd hit on the envelope, the invite. This then lets you, so you turn this on to yes and yes, go and choose the relevant centres that you want to. So you've got access to every single centre in the whole of Australia there. So choose the ones that you want to invite, go and invite them. Next time they log in, they will see, like this does here, in their own envelope, an invite to come to your profile. None of these are up to date, hence they haven't shown up, but that would then let you see what it is you've been invited, who's invited you, when it is, and then start nominating in your athletes. You do have the option in here when you're inviting centres to actually turn on that the families, when they next log into their family area, can also nominate themselves in or not. So you just make that yes or no. So that means the centre doesn't have all the legwork of getting bits of paper in or emails or whatever it is from different family members to go in different events. They can farm that out to the families themselves. The centre can then have the final say and say, yep, that's definitely what we want. Then meanwhile, back in the host profile, you've got the final say then to say, Centre ABC have sent across these nominations. Whatever my criteria is for letting them in, whether they've paid or I'm happy with the combinations that they sent, I then start approving them. The moment you approve them, they are now a member in this profile. All the PB data from these different profiles, it's dynamic. So if we did this a month before the actual event, meanwhile Jack's had a cracker of a season and his PB's gone through the roof, the day that we print off the recording sheets or the day that we start up the timing software to go and record events, it will bring down the latest PBs for Jack at that exact point in time, not from a month ago. So it helps with that sort of information. And then that would then allow Jack, if you're doing live uploads, in his profile, would then have Gala Day Spectacular and would have the 800 and the 100 and whatever else you've been uploading, and then all the field events would also go in there. So that's the general flow of how that all works. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Awesome.
I'm logging off now, so I've got to get up early.
No worries.
Go to work.
All right. Good luck, Graham.
See ya.
Thank you. With that Gala Day, you could also have the option to turn on live results, which then means that people, so on your Facebook, you would have a link to this page and it would let them see results coming up from the track, results getting saved in the field, and who's first, second, third, and so on. And then if you wanted to have points being calculated for the day and Centre A, Centre B, Centre C, and their total points and who's winning the gala day, then you could have that happening too. So that's all the other extra benefits of having that live environment. Would that be something of interest?
Points for the gala day.
Points for the gala.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, possibly not.
Possibly not all of it, but some of it maybe.
Yeah, cool. All right.
The age.
Well, that brings me to the end of my information pack and agenda. So now it's just you and us, or you and me. So there's no one else online. Is there anything we need to go back over, or any bits we haven't touched on that you want to cover off?
We were just also wanting to know about if a club that we wants to enter into our carnival doesn't use this program,
Yep.
would it still? How would we still enter them?
Yeah, good question. Best way to manage that is tell them just pull their head out and go and get it sorted out. Otherwise, the less fancy ways, you could just upload from Excel the basics of those members,
Yep.
and then they'll be a part of that profile.
Yep. Okay.
So as the host, we can still edit and upload.
Yes.
Excellent.
Nice. Any other good curly questions?
No, I think that was it.
Good. All right. Well, then are we at the end, or are we going to take a little slight turn somewhere else?
No, I think that was it.
Good enough.
Finished.
Yeah.
Sweet. Nice. All right. Well, thanks for your time tonight. Obviously, it's great that you jumped in and you're getting some good information there. And we're always around, as you're probably aware, through support channels. So if there are any questions or issues, then please get in touch with us, and we'll do our best to sort you out as soon as we can.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
No worries, guys. Have a good evening.
You too.
You too, eh?
Thank you. Good night.